Hello. I'm sleepy. I actually don't want to be live right now, but I have a lot of things to say. My eyes literally hurt. Which is always a great sign. My eyes hurt, my body hurts. My body hurts more so though because I've been, I don't know, working out a little bit. Nothing crazy. I have like 5 pound weights. I make fun of myself sometimes because when I work out with them for long enough, I get like what I call noodle arms because my intention is never to grow muscle. It's just to have them be like slim. And that is exactly what happens. But oh my God, my body is like, please stop. You're hurting me. It, like it hurts to breathe. Oh, oh, fit check. Oh, yes, every day. I mean, every night. Whenever it is I'm live, fit check. The most important part of this entire stream. You'll never. Okay, before I do that, I just want you to know before I went live, I could have gone live sooner, but I'm looking for something very specific. So I've been scouring my private Instagram, right? Which apparently holds the key to many events. It's almost like Nostradamus, like up in there. And luckily, I have the ability to check my own archives. But yeah, I stumbled across something that I wasn't looking for, which almost seems to be the case every time. But now I'm just like, well, now what the fuck is this? And I think you're gonna feel the same. But before we get to that, I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I woke up at I don't even know what fucking time yesterday. I think it might have been yesterday, and then I stayed up until like 11 a.m. my time, and I was trying to stay up with everyone. I was like, no, I need to take like a nappy poo. I need I need to tap out for a second. And so I took a bit of a nap until like 1 or 2. And yeah, I don't know if my body's just trying to like recalibrate and like reschedule itself, which is fine. Like that I don't mind the idea of it, but like going through it in the process is like I'm miserable. Like it's almost like being sick in a way. But yes, fit check. Hold on. The flare. I'm in overalls. Oh, now that I think about it, these overalls have a story. I bought these overalls when I was living in Redondo. So I say Redondo or 304. They're the same thing. On the birthday of a Russian that I happen to know. And that very same day, there was a shooting on the pier that I mean, I could walk there and it would like take me less than 2 minutes. And they killed a black man on the rocks. And I'm not saying that to be like spicy spy talk terminology. No, they literally shot a black man on the rocks. And I was like, well then, that's crazy. But yeah, these are my Vans overalls. I like them very much. They make me feel like I'm wearing pajamas, even though I'm not wearing pajamas. I was invited to go to dinner with the fam. I didn't know this was gonna happen. As I said earlier in the stream, minutes ago even, I've been doing a little workout, nothing crazy. But I literally, like, I just finished. I just finished everything that I've established for myself as part of my routine. And I get a text like a couple minutes later, and my mother's like, hey, I'm home, move your fucking car. She doesn't say it like that, but you know, because I'm in the driveway. And I'm like, oh, fine, fair enough. Um, but I eventually, like, I have to like come to terms with her and her being here, and I have to like talk to her, obviously. And me being the fat ass I am, I'm like, do you have anything planned for dinner? Like, dinner? Dinner plans? Like, what are you doing? And by you, I mean, what are we doing for dinner? And we decided to go to a local restaurant called Don Cuco's, and she's like, just get ready quick. And as you could probably tell by my face, it was not a quick process. Um, but yeah, she had some things to do before we went to dinner. And I was like, okay, I have time to shower off. I won't wash my hair, you know, whatever. I'll just throw on makeup afterwards. But she texts me literally as I'm finishing my makeup, but I'm like, I have no clothes. So I get really frustrated because I don't like to be rushed. Nothing to do with her. Everything to do with like me and how I operate. I really don't enjoy being rushed. Which is why if I ever show up really early to something or really late, it's because most likely I want to. And if it's not, then something's gone amiss. Anyway, I can't find clothes. Like, I can't find anything to wear. I don't know what happened. I'm usually really good about just like randomly selecting things. So I just happened to pull out of my like 5 laundry hampers of clean laundry that I have yet to put away my overalls, and I'm like, oh my God, my comfort apparel. So we are in a bit more of a cozy mode today. I'd apologize, but it is what it is. Oh boy, where do we start? So you remember the David saga? You're probably like, how could we forget? You want to see something crazy? Again, I am, and I'm still looking for it, something completely different. But I thought you would find this interesting. Let me switch you over. Do you see this? This lineup is whatever. Take it as you will. But once again, we have the FBI. And we have an Anthony Bork, which to me is still close enough to like Berg, or whatever the fuck David's last name is. And I'm just at this point like, what the fuck do you mean? Like 2 for 2 FBI, like at this point I could probably bring a case against you and being like, how did you know like pedophilic activities were happening? Like you're going bar for bar. Like what is this? And I'm a person who wants to respect authority, not in like a kinky way. But like I like to think these people, you know, who the people who are meant to protect and serve, there's some folks in these you know, agencies who actually intend to do that. And I'm just like what is happening? Like can you explain this type of alignment? You know what I mean? I just again randomly came across it. I'm like, wait a minute. And I stopped and I was like, I just have to start streaming now. I don't even care if I can't find what I'm looking for at this point. Like, this is important too. So here we are. Oh! Let's keep scrolling together, shall we? Scroll, 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 scroll. Scroll, scroll, scroll. We're gonna have to scroll for a minute. This is gonna... This is another thing you're gonna have to explain to me. Okay? This is kind of a big deal. We'll get to this later, but just notice. Hold on. How I'm questioning the namesake. Because I actually think I might have cracked this code, and I don't know if anyone's gonna like what I have to say about it. I don't even like it, but facts are facts, and we don't get to just come up with our preferred truth. That's not how that works. So, scroll, scroll, scroll. Actually, I think maybe if I press the down arrow key, we go faster, if I'm not mistaken. I think I experimented with this earlier. Yeah, just a little bit. We have the technology. Even SpongeBob's like, what the fuck? Hold on. We have to get back to the fish. Because there's so many things. It's almost, what's happening right now is to the point I'm like, am I somehow causing a reactionary response? Which there's no reason I should be, right? Like, I'm a little old nobody. I mean, I'm not old, but. So you remember this? We'll go through it again, just to prove the point. Okay. The picture, we have the gun, and then we establish the name. By the way, Elizabeth, when you go to September 8th, which was the day that they figured out, you know, Celeste Rivas was in the compartment of the car. I went to that date on my timeline, and Queen Elizabeth died. I don't think I mentioned that last time. I think I was too overwhelmed with all the other things I was pointing out, but this is also a true, a factual statement. So that's odd. You're making my eye itch. That's always a great sign. Um, but you see this gun, and then we have, like you and I at this moment have no way of knowing how Celeste passed away. I've seen speculation of things. We're not even going to touch on this. However, I really wanted to bring something up because it was a mention in which I have not heard anyone else speak on. There is another Rebus that's passed. Let's read. Arrest made amid Lake Elsinore deadly shooting investigation. So once again, I don't know why Ludwig's involved. We are back at Lake Elsinore. Okay, and mind you, when I click on this article, when I randomly find it, I had no idea anything that was going to be said or involved. I just saw Lake Elsinore and I was like, wait, why again are we back here? Watch. Lake Elsinore, California. A Lake Elsinore man was identified this week as a suspect in an ongoing homicide investigation, according to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. Steven Vargas, Steven's a name. I don't necessarily want to get into why, but it is. Relating to the people who we've already pinned to Lake Elsinore, mind you. Just to give some context, not going too deep. Was arrested Wednesday by homicide investigators with the assistance of investigators from the Major Crimes Unit. He was booked into the Coy Bird Detention Center where he awaits felony murder charges. On Sunday, just after 7:45 p.m., Lake Elsinore Sheriff's Station deputies were dispatched to the 28,000 block of Wells Fargo Lane in Lake Elsinore regarding an assault with a deadly weapon, according to Sergeant Alberto. I am not going to be able to pronounce your last name. Upon arrival, deputies located 38-year-old Brian Rivas, a resident of Lake Elsinore, suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. Hey! Welcome in, welcome in. We're just conspiracy hours as always. Maybe not even conspiracy, just kind of going over the news of the day. Hope you're doing well. Happy Sunday or Monday, depending on where you are. Don't out yourself in these times. If you have any questions or anything, just let me know, okay? But yeah, so I randomly come across this article and I'm like, okay, so we're really doubling down. Like, because already this was weird enough, right? The shush and the Revis was weird enough. Now all of a sudden we have a gun, and Revis, which we can now connect to this situation. I'm like, bro, like they're trying to off the Revis clan. Like, what? We're just gonna. What is happening? That's crazy. That's crazy fucking shit. That's not random, at least in my mind. So that happened. I wanted to state that. I discovered this like 2 days ago. I've been offline. I think I just needed to like recharge, and I'm still not even fully charged up. I'm like completely exhausted, but at some point you have to be like, duty calls, buck up, kid. And so here we are, doing what we must do. All right, so now that that's done, let's close the tab. Speaking of fish, I woke up really fucking early this morning and I went on a Wikipedia. That's totally fair. Can I be honest with you? Neither do I. This was not my intention. This is my like least favorite genre of anything. It's just how my life is unfolded has made it that I am very somehow attuned or tapped into things that, I mean, crime is important, right? So it's like if you have information, like you know something, you're supposed to say something. And so here's me saying something. I don't really know what else I'm supposed to do with this information because otherwise it's just sitting with me. But clearly like there's dots that are connecting and I'm like, all right, let's just go live and put it out there and see what happens. Like I like fantasy. Like give me my unicorns and vampires and magic wands, you know? Let me play video games and read books and I don't know, have friends or something, but no. No, we're doing this instead. It's kind of lame. Anyway, I randomly come across, and I could not even tell you how many Wikipedia polls. Do you see how there's like blue highlighted like words and things? There are so many. Is this your type of shit, bro? This is my last name, the Dugas. Okay, again, I'm awake at like, I don't know what fucking time in the morning. Yeah, no, humans are kind of, it's not only like, I'm gonna be so real with you, it's not even humans that are dark, it's what we let befall us and we let define us that's dark. We, for the most part, like think back to your childhood. Most children are relatively happy and then the world happens. But I think it gets worse than that. I think there's a lot of like psychological warfare and programming that happens, and then people get selected to do things. Like I think a lot of school shooters, for example, I know it sounds conspiratorial, but I think people get picked and then groomed to do those things. And so when they're like, oh, it's a lone wolf, I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know somebody groomed this asshole. Life implies death. Life does imply death. However, we live in a world of technology, and I'm almost 110% sure you can download your conscious to a meta framework or a matrix. So, I don't know. It's not even like elitism at this point. It's just like, I think people could probably already live forever by now, and they're just really farming the biological framework, because if you don't live long enough, then you're not really going to be able to formulate a good argument or some type of pushback against the powers that be, no? It's easier to control that way. Hardly want to be here now. No, you know what? It's so funny. I'm not like trying to be like pro death, but like I am so over everyone and everything. I'm just like, I'm good with one life, personally. So, you know, if other people want to live a second life and they get the opportunity, either because they have to pay to play more or, you know, give their souls to an affiliation, I'm like, that's fine for you. But I'm just like so tired of stupid shit. Like, it's just not worth. It's not worth, bro. It's not worth being around like crap. Anyway, so did you guys see my Instagram? We clocked this fish shit, and I was just likening it to like my friend had recent. I say friend, I don't know this person. Sorry, Will. Internet friend had streamed something. Follow my Insta. I don't really post much on there, to be honest. Not at least like this one's private. I have a public one, which we can kind of get into in a second, but we clocked the fish just due to the nature of what my friend was streaming. And I just so happened to, where is it? Come across this person with, again, my last name. And in this photo, he has a fish on him. Also, some black and white, like white. So it's like, is it not emblematic of like, I don't know, a death portrait? There's a couple of things I want to know. So you brought up my Instagram. Seeing as I have two, one is the name of which I'm streaming on right now. So it's my first name and then two middle names. But my second one is it's the dog Zero. Due to the fact I had a dog named Ghost die and, you know, Tim Burton reference, you know, there's a ghost dog named Zero. And I was like, okay, I want to pay tribute to him. So I come across this randomly today, noting like I create this like name for myself a couple years ago, having like legitimate reason. But I come across this and I'm like, wait a minute. Was there like a deeper script? Noting, mind you, I have tattoos on my fingers. Like 20 minutes or something before I find this, I don't know if you guys like have read any of what's going on here, like HIV. My my IV fingers starts to itch, and I don't think anything of it other than like I'm just like scrolling through Wikipedia's and I'm like, oh, I'm so smart, Ivy League, haha. I make a stupid joke. But when I come across this, I'm like, wait, HIV. Also, my grandpa was from Canada. I want to note this as well, how the occupation of this person is flight attendant. Because when I was at 304 and gave myself this name, I, where is it? Hold, hold on. Did they change it since I last read this? I know like Wikipedia can get changed by almost about anyone, right? Like they can just come in and make edits or whatever. Or I don't know exactly how it works, but or maybe I had it in a different layout because I've been messing with like the large versus standard versus small just to see how things stack depending on like the font size, which probably sounds weird, but it's led to discoveries. So when I moved to 304, I lived by somebody like on the same floor as me named Lori. And Lori was a flight attendant. And if you know anything about my 304 lore, I almost die there. Like through multiple means. Like I get COVID really bad. I try to kill myself there personally, and then I also almost got my neck snapped. I mean, it did happen, but on a roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm while I was living there. But the idea that at some point, oh, by the way, I was born in 1993. So documentary Killing Patient Zero. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? I like, literally, I lose my shit this morning. I don't know how early it was, but I just like randomly, again, like, you have no idea how many Wikipedia pages I was just like scrolling through, you know, essentially trying to mind my business, but like being curious. I guess they say curiosity killed the cat. But I'm like, this is hitting way, 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 way too close. But especially given the nature of everything else I've recently talked about, I'm like, this isn't good, Mr. Krabs. What are we talking about? What do you mean? So that was my morning. It was a fucking like whiplash. It was a lot. I need to also bring back up how we talked about this plane. And in the moment I brought this up randomly, so this is still in the context of like, you know, the Instagram feed. Once again, reminding you, this is from 2022. Just keep this in mind. When I bring this up, I bring this up because another friend of mine that I don't know, named Austin, mentioned planes, or somebody had mentioned planes. There was like an internet conversation. And I remembered looking at my feed before this conversation took place, and I was like, no, 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 planes are involved actually. Like there is a point of reference here. Come to find that very same day, um, and I didn't learn this until the day after, there's a plane crash. Okay. And like this is a prominent person. I mean, if Tim McGraw is mourning you, that's pretty major. I don't know if any of you know anything about country, but Brett James dies. James also being the name of Charlie Kirk, mind you. Just throwing that out there. I don't know if it means anything. But I was like, wait, what the fuck? You know, I thought I was just randomly, you know, making a point of reference in conversation, but it comes, I come to find, like, no, actually, there's been a major plane incident, which is funny because this all happens. I mean, you know, it's September, so 9/11 is obviously on people's minds and things. And I'm just like, what is going on? What the fuck is going on? So we have that happen. But wait, there's more. Tyler Robinson went to Dairy Queen. We just clocked. This was because of Celeste Rivas, mind you. I was like, okay, so I wonder what happened in 2022 on my previous like Instagram on the 8th. Again, I will point this out. This is from the 7th. The reason I'm bringing up the 8th is because that's when it was stated that they found her body, or a body in the car. This is the 8th. Queen Elizabeth. So you're telling me Tyler Robinson went to Dairy Queen? I clocked that shit through like some absurd manner. Like, there's no shot. Like, at some point, it's just like, it's too surreal. Like, there's too many like interwoven threads here. I literally feel like it's not like I'm going crazy. I'm just like, I think the algorithm's fucked. Like, it's snitching on itself, right? Like, I don't know what else to say of it. So this is a whole thing. I don't know if there's necessarily video. But yeah, it's just like, there's just so much shit that starts to stack up once you start paying attention. Oh, by the way, back to fish. Because we were just there. Sorry, Queen. We gotta go back. As soon as I mentioned fish, soon after, where did it go? This happens. One dead, two injured in fatal stabbing at Fish concert. Like, what do you mean? And I think, like, the way it feels sometimes is when you go out of your way to be an honest broker of truth and information, they're like, oh, you're gonna out us? Like, or you're gonna say something of it? Fine, we're gonna like double down. Like, it's that's what it starts to feel like. But I never, I don't feel deterred in information sharing. It's just like I get like pissed off. Like, if this is a direct reaction to like the whole there's like me randomly pulling a fish thing and like bringing up other things and other findings, I'm just like, even the intelligence agencies are petty as fuck, and like that's so sad. Like, where are the sophisticated folks that are meant to run our lives? You know what I mean? Like, we're just dealing with arrogant children. That's what it feels like. So much to go over. So much to go over. Okay, give me one break, you guys. One break. 1 second for a break. I need to use the restroom. I'm going to fill up my cup, and I'll be right back. Bet. GG's. So yeah, you can take a second, grab some water, or whatever you want. We have so much more to cover, unfortunately. Life. I hate it. Okay, BRB. Do you want Nami's bean? Okay, hold on. One second. Ruben, there's your num nums. Osiris, come here. Osiris. Osiris. You, you can't be serious. Oh my god. Okay. Fine. Your bowl's over here, B, and the white cat's gonna eat it. Oh my god, please. Why are you being like this? Osiris, your food's over here. Go eat it. I have work to do. Why are you like this right now? She's being so unserious. Like, we're not talking about real shit. She's like, la di da di da. I'm like, please. Like, I don't have enough problems. I don't need a problem child on top of it all. Oi. Okay. Where do I go from here? I will say that I got to this pole. I don't know what brought it upon me. I was like, I need to look up occult symbols. Not because I'm like an occultist. I'm just like trying to understand. Like, symbology is a language, right? I think we can all agree. Like, even like your clothes are a language. Like, there's body language. Like, language isn't necessarily like a spoken word. Right. So it's just like an interesting thing. I think a lot of people have expressed some type of intrigue. So, again, like, it was so fucking earlier, and I like in the morning, and I don't even wake up at that time. So my memory is it's terrible to begin with, but especially foggy in this moment. But I want to say I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look up occult symbology again, not because I care to practice or do anything with it. I want to understand things beyond myself. And I come across Aleister Crowley. Is that how you say his name? This guy. Mind you, yeah, crazy thing. Fun story. So when I am looking this person up, I shit you not, like, and I'm not even just saying this. Wait one second. Let me. Uh-oh. What am I moving? No, the alert box should be. Sorry. New streamer. Right before I get to this page, my face, and like, this is how I'm holding my face. I'm literally doing the same pose he's doing, but as soon as I click on it, my finger curves like this over my lip. But I remember the position my hand was just in, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I mirroring this motherfucker? Just very odd. You know, very odd, at least in my mind. So I come across him, and then I think it's through him that I eventually come across Patient Zero, and I don't know which way I found him, or that page in particular, but this is a whole thing that I end up, you know, scanning through this morning. And so you see this HT right here. Oh, you can't see my cursor. For shame. Here, I'll highlight it. There it is. those were my initials. That was, I was born with my father's last name due to an accident, actually. That was not the intention of my mother, who was going to be my sole provider for my existence in forms of raising me and otherwise. But I do get his last name, so for the most part, for the first like 2 or 3 years, HT is what I was. But I'm clocking this lineup. Don't ask me why my eyes do these things. So I'm like building a stack. So I see baby daughter, I see HT. And mind you, I've been reading in like large. I don't typically even fuck with this. I don't fuck with the casings as far as like expanding the size. But for whatever reason this morning, I was like, you know what? I want to see how things stack differently depending on if I make the font larger or smaller and so on and so on. So, this is going to be a really crazy story. Where is it? Where is HT? It's like, where's Waldo? Where'd it go? Hello? Is it lower? Let me know if you find it. Oh, and you'll see how these are both clicked? This just proves what I'm about to tell you, mind you. These are both poets, um, or writers. Oh, there it is. So at this point, like, this doesn't really mean anything, but like, I noticed Hastings, which was the last name of my grandmother. And now I'm like, wait, and I'm seeing the name Henry. Now, some of you might know who Henry Cavill is. Yeses, no's in chat. The man, the myth, the legend. Superman himself, perhaps. Ooh, wait. Actually, I totally understand you because I don't pay attention to pop culture either. Okay, totally fine. So let me give you some background lore because most of how I connect dots is because I get personal like chains of reference and then I dive deeper into something that's kind of outside of my purview. And then I gauge current events and I can put things together and then I'm like, okay, now we have substance. So Henry, this is my story, was the name of the elk. Well, I named him this, that my great grandparents had in a house we all had and shared growing up. Um, and for whatever reason, every Christmas, my great grandparents would decorate this elk head mounted above the fireplace with like the most bulbous Christmas lights you can imagine, you know, like the really ugly ones, but like they're all colorful and stuff. And they'd always make sure to put like the red tip on Henry's nose. Again, I named him that, nobody else called him that. So Henry was kind of like Rudolph, okay? But I move, you know, through life as one does, and I come across this actor named Henry Cavill. And Henry Cavill's a really interesting guy, as most, I mean, anybody in Hollywood is, honestly, if you dig deep enough. Anyway, I start paying attention to this person, specifically for the namesake. I'll be completely transparent. It's just like the fact that his name was what it was. Um, but the fact that I all of a sudden see my grandma's last name and then his first name, this is a person. Sometimes I check in on celebrities. You know, I'm not. I don't frequent that as much anymore. I've tried to build a more professional relationship with social media in general, and not be as how do you say? I'm not trying to be parasocial. You know, like some people get really involved in celebrity culture or even with people they don't know. How big or how small doesn't matter. And I realized I was kind of forming bad habits in that way. So I've really dialed it in. But Henry Cavill is somebody I used to check on frequently. and I haven't checked on this person in a while. Another point of context, a personal story. So, the Friday before Labor Day, I'm at my job, and I've mentioned this story before. I get into a little bit of an accident. There's these two towers, like literally up to the ceiling, of hair products from Schwarzkopf, which is a German company, but they're a hair brand, essentially. And it's their toners called Vibrance. And as I'm assessing these two literal twin towers of Vibrance, like about a week before, 9/11, not keeping that in mind, of course, I only like put that all together later. I'm like looking at these things up and down. I'm like, I'm not getting a good feeling about this. And a couple minutes this goes by, and I keep stopping my work and what I'm doing, and I'm looking at these two twin towers of product. Like I'm literally pressing up against them. I'm trying to see how stable they are. Like, and I'm getting really uncomfortable about it. The last time I do it, I turn around, about to go back to my work. They both topple over. And you have to understand how much weight and force and how lucky I am to not have been hit by them. Um, I just happened to move, like literally I turned around, took like a step, and they both like tipped over in the opposite direction. Uh, so this happens, and I'm like, well, shit, now I have to fix this, but I also don't want to get in trouble for whatever reason, so I have to also clean this up without having anyone know this has happened. That's just the nature of work sometimes, right? Like you're gonna get blamed for things that are beyond your control. So I take it upon myself to fix this on my own. And in doing so, I put my leg, the boxes fell in such a way where they didn't completely topple over. None of the product fell out of the boxes. I was so fortunate, nothing broke, but I needed leverage to get the boxes upright. So I stuck my leg in like a plank, and my ankle suffered. I mean, it still hurts actually. I think I have like a really deep bruise, but I used my leg to like lift the boxes up and push them one by one back up to the best of my ability, in which I did successfully, mind you. But it was very difficult. So I hurt my ankle. The story is I hurt my ankle. Um, and I noted this story as well, mind you, with Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk passed away on the 10th. So the idea that that's just one day before 9/11, I'm like, okay, that's weird. So back to Henry. This will all make sense, I promise. I get note that all of a sudden Henry has hurt his leg 9 days ago. So that's just a couple days after my own injury. And I make not even a joke, but I say to myself, I'm like, he better not have hurt his foot because I just did. Because I just fucking did. And I'm like, I already know like there's some like weird type of like interconnection between all the things going on, the cloud, the matrix, the algorithm, however you want to put it. And I'm like, God damn it, Henry, like you better not have hurt your fucking leg. Oh, did I mention I have a tattoo of an elk, and due to the fact that I grew up with Henry on the wall. Anyway, he had a big S for Superman, and then I have this. It's fine. We're built different. But yeah, I'm just like, I hope he didn't hurt his foot. But seeing as I just randomly clock, not this one, where did it go? During my Aleister Crowley, just search his name with my grandma's name and then my initials, I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's time for a check-in. Maybe it's time for like a wellness check. So I randomly look him up, and it just so happens, like yesterday, we'll click on Yahoo. I guess that's like the most recent. It says 2 hours ago. I don't think this was up when I had the tab open initially. A week ago, reports about Henry Cavill's injury and the resulting delay in Highlander began circulating online not long after Cavill confirmed fans' fears on his Instagram account. The 42-year-old actor shared a photo of his bandaged foot and ankle, resting on a pillow with some visible bruises and cuts on his shin. The carousel also included a selfie of Cavill enjoying some well-deserved quality time with his pupper friend Baggins, in which he shares a poem, which is what got me into the mindset of like, wait, as I went, because I'm like pinballing back and forth between tabs and things. So eventually I come across Crowley's like notes of inspiration with these poets, but seeing as like this was a poem, like I'm like clocked in. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like a dog. I'm quite literally like a dog. I'm like picking up scents. I'm picking up leads. I'm like, let me follow this one. Let's see what happens. But like this motherfucker actually hurt his fucking ankle. And I'm like, no. I joked but was like serious about it. I was like, he better not have hurt his foot like I did. And here he is. I'm like, God damn it. I didn't want that to happen. So that's a thing. Um, but that's really all you need to know about that. I needed to point it out because it's like it's just so weird. It's so weird how things like connect sometimes. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. We're not done with Henry. Come back. Come back. If you don't know this man, maybe this might mean something to you. He plays Superman, but specifically, he plays Superman in a movie titled Man of Steel. And this is really, really important because I was already clocking my Vibrance incident with Charlie Kirk. And then I randomly come across this Henry shit, which I already, again, noted. I'm like, he better not have hurt his ankle. And then he hurt his ankle. All of a sudden, today, or at this point yesterday, the surgeon who was looking at Charlie Kirk called Charlie Man of Steel. And I'm like, bro, what do you mean? And this is like random. I like come across this. I'll show you even how this particular information came to me. Like this is a specific search, just so I could have it on standby on a tab. So do you see how I just like opened a brand new tab and so I'm getting like this like carousel or this like wheel of random shit? That's how. Either that or it's like on one of these like random like little boards. But I figured this out later and I'm like, there's no shot. Like that's so fucking crazy. And I got that all from Aleister Crowley. And now I'm going through this. I'm educating myself. You know, I'm going beyond the pale, right? This was a whole moment, but I'm like, I have to go on. So eventually I come back to my wiki tab. You know, I scroll more. One of these days we're just gonna have to do this live. Like even if it's early in the morning and I'm in no makeup, because like this morning was wild how much shit I clocked. I don't think it was this guy, although I noted Burton, because Burton is from the town that I'm currently living in, like Tim Burton. And I find that very intriguing personally, but especially like I guess since I clocked like the red hair I used to have, kind of doubling down on like the Jack and Sally shit. But Crowley, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, there's like so much to go over, right? Like, there's so much to go over with this person, but I really do want to point out one thing in particular. How I got to it, however, is in a bit of a different way. Oh, Scarlet Woman. going back to Red, we did bring up the Scarlet Witch. Wait, what? Really? Wait, so to impale means to, I mean, force an object, like within a an object, right? There's better words, but you know. So what does just like pale mean? To just exist? Like beyond the average, beyond the noticeable? But yes, the Scarlet Woman come up, and I was like, God damn, we clocked Scarlet Witch already. To form a fence. We are learning things today. We haven't even gotten to Webster. Worm. My life is so stupid. I want it to be normal, but normal's also boring. I just wish it wasn't like this weird. But thank you for educating me. I like words. Words are fun. Where is it? I'm looking for some. This. I randomly clicked this. There was a point where I realized Aleister Crowley's wiki page noting that I've been up for hours and hours and hours. I mean, at this point, it might have been 3 or 4 in the morning. I couldn't even tell you. And I'm exhausted. And I'm like, I can't. I'd love to, Chief, but I can't read through all of this. So I'm just like doing this. I'm like going really fast, just like seeing what like clocks my attention. And I find myself in such a position where I think I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Like just visible at the top. Oh, you can't even see it. Bullshit. Hold on. Just like this. I see this word. And seeing as I have a moon tattoo, and we've talked about, you know, Charlie getting shot in the neck, and, you know, kind of putting, like, we've been putting a little bit more emphasis on certain aspects of the lore. I click on it. And oh my god, is this a whole thing? And this is actually why I think Luna Lovegood exists. I have a theory. We have to scroll. We have to scroll a lot. Hold on. I clicked on it earlier, but I want to just like make the point. This is also very interesting to me. But the task at hand. Hello. Where? Yes. Why is her last name Lovegood? Okay, so notice how, like, we don't necessarily look alike, but, you know, there's enough going on. Because one of my tags or, like, handles used to be Luna Moth. Okay. And I get bullied for a lot of reasons. And I was just like, right. This was before a lot of people thought Donald Trump was a pedophile, by the way. Notice how this is 152 weeks ago, not like 2 weeks ago, because he won't release the Epstein files. Just pointing that out. I'm just gonna point that out. I honestly think what happened was J.K. Rowling came into knowing of Aleister Crowley's Moonchild. And if you don't know, a summarization, and I mean, it might be obviously not to the best of an ability, seeing as I've just touched on this topic this morning. But in Aleister Crowley's occult circle, they were under the impression that they could bring the goddess, it starts with a B, help me if you know it. Hold on, I can look this up. We have the technology. Or wait, is it on here? Babylon. Jesus Christ. They could bring the goddess Babylon into human form if they performed a lot of sex rituals. So, strategic breeding and other types of shit. And I literally actually think this is just something I put together today. That's why Luna Lovegood's a character. Because Luna being Moon, but Lovegood because she came about through sex rituals. It's like the craziest thing ever, and it makes me incredibly uncomfortable. And I don't know why, when writing a children's novel, you'd include something so like, ugh. But here we are. But yes, this is a whole thing. I looked up homunculus, as you can see, it's purple. Hecate was already purple because I clocked Hecate the day of the Nintendo Direct, before the Nintendo Direct went live, and it was announced that Hades 2 was going to be released. And Hecate is the teacher of, I forgot the main character's name in that one, but it's a girl this time. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Hades 2. But we already had this dialed in. So it was very, like, when I saw this, I was like, oh my God! Because a lot of the things I'd been, like, seeing were, like, darker in nature. This was, like, the one thing that kind of made me smile. I'm like, oh, I know her! We talked about her earlier, like, a good couple days or weeks ago at this point. But yeah, Babylon's a whole thing. Oh my God. And then we get into this whole fucking shit. So you remember how I was, like, talking about, like, not esoteric, but occult symbolism? All of these sevens randomly come into play. I don't know what fucking Bible verse I pull through what Wikipedia page. It is like, again, like, I went through so many, like, wormholes, I swear. I'm getting microwaved. But I come across, like, this random, like, transcript in the Bible, and it mentions, like, 7, 7, 7, 7, like, all of these sevens, and I think it's in Revelations. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And then I look at this and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're referencing for whatever reason. Which I guess would make sense because Revelation is, you know, the book of the apocalypse. It's the book of, you know, essentially, like, you know how in Dante's Inferno, well, the Divine Comedy, but Dante's Inferno is like a whole framework. Essentially, Revelation is that for the Bible, right? Like, I think we can all kind of agree if we study the Bible or, you know, expand beyond that. I think a lot of religions probably have some type of text regarding the afterlife and the consequences if you do not obey and follow their orders. Now, I've personally always been fascinated with Revelations. It's my favorite book, and I'm not even joking because I've always liked the idea of not living here anymore. I'm like, yeah, Revelation. Get rid of this shit. Let's go home. But that's why I like it. I've never feared Revelation. I've always like looked forward to it. But I think what the actual like intention was in its scripture is to invoke fear. So you do follow order and suit. I think you're meant to be afraid of consequence. Kind of like, you know, how laws is meant to work is you're supposed to fear the consequence of your actions so much so that you never conduct the action in the first place, right? It's kind of like a countermeasure. It's the first movement on the chessboard of life is law and order, and then you exist and you make a move. And depending on how you operate, you know, law and order can knock you down and you get taken out. Um, it's kind of like propaganda, but it's also very interesting if you care about not just like the fantastic idea of like rapture or anything like that, like the apocalypse, but also just like psychology. I think there's a much deeper rooted reason as to why certain texts exist. Anyway, once again, the Scarlet Woman comes up. Oh, Aeon of Horus came up, which I also thought was incredibly interesting, seeing as we randomly came across internet. Internet? Am I even still live? Why is this not working? Maybe if we just do this. Okay, yeah, I don't know why that other shit didn't work. If you look at these books, it's Warhammer Horus something. Like Heresy or some. I'm like a D&D fan, so Warhammer's kind of like above my head. I respect the game, I just know nothing of it. Um, but yeah, it's like there's a lot of like recirculation of certain names. Again, like I already clocked Hecate earlier. Thoth came up, or Thought. There's a whole story of that. So back to 304. There was one day where I was like looking up Egyptian deities and things, and Thought came up, and I had my computer, like I do sometimes, like for example, I don't know if it'll do it now. This is a different setup, but um,
As Crowley wrote in his The Book of Thoth,
oh, it says Thoth.
edit, Whore of Babylon.
Thank you. I feel like I just was called a whore. Um, for no reason. Thanks, man. When I had my previous Mac laptop read uh, the name Thoth or Thought, it said Thought. And at the time, in culture, begone thought was a common phrase word. So that morning, I was doing this research, I was like locked in. I laughed. I was like, that's so funny. They call him Thought. And later that day, I ended up going to my mother's house, and she has her Russian crew there. She's adopted three Russians for some reason. I'm yet to figure out why or how. She's also said she wanted to have dinner with Vladimir Putin twice unprompted, and one time she said that when we were going through a McDonald's drive-through. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Anyway, I'm a traumatized person in a really fucked up life. I go there and one of the Russians, I'm sitting in the kitchen at the island, minding my fucking business. They come down in a shirt and it says "Begone Thought," and I'm like, there's no shot. There's no shot I had like this whole like bit to myself, by myself, in my home earlier that day where I laughed because my laptop decided to pronounce those thought, and all of a sudden you're wearing a Begone Thought shirt. Mind you, this is the same person who during COVID, this was COVID times, coughed on me. And I'm like, are you serious? I know Russians like poisoning people, but goddamn, like, do we have to be that like front and center about it? Now, do I know if this person did it intentionally? It's hard to say. Operators and intelligence works in mysterious ways. But it's like I can't neglect the facts. Like that happened. It's so I don't know. Anyway, the point being, there's just a lot. Oh, see, we talked about the Book of Revelation. Um, there's just a lot. There's just a lot that goes on this morning. It's pretty crazy. I think at some point, apparently not here, I clicked on like angels and stuff. Again, it's not me trying to like dig deeper in a sense of like, oh, I care, I'm invested. I'm just like trying to understand like the coding and like what they mean by things and whatever, whatever, whatever. I came across earlier. So keep in mind Moonchild, by the way. This is the other poet that Crowley was influenced by. And I realized upon reading some of these things, where is it? Hold on. Right here. I realized this actually might be the reason why he named himself Alistair. And I didn't necessarily read that anywhere. It just kind of seems like a poignant conclusion. Like, I don't think that would be beyond a reasonable doubt. I think that's within contention of possibility. Um, the realm of possibility is something that I like to talk about because there are just so many possibilities, but there's obviously a spectrum of likeliness within the realm of possibility. But seeing as this is cited as one of his more prominent sources of influence, I'm like, this is essentially his namesake. And so it's very interesting to me, this person all of a sudden, right? Come to find this person's wife was Mary Shelley, who authored Frankenstein. And I'm like, now wait a minute. Was Crowley so like lost in his own like I don't know, like you know how sometimes when you're like really into a fan base or you're really into I mean this about anything and all of a sudden it gets like too real or you start intentionally like implementing parts of those aspects of fiction or something outside of yourself into your life because you want it to be your life. I'm like, wait, because Frankenstein almost is giving me Moonchild vibes. So we talked about that. Where in Moonchild, you know, they're going out of their way, they're doing these rituals, all of these things to create a being. I'm like, wait, but Frankenstein's kind of the same thing. Like, you're trying to create a very specific life, right? And I'm like, oh my God. I think Crowley just like, I know like people respect him, and I do apologize if, you know, this becomes off-putting for you because maybe you want to respect the guy or, you know, follow his teachings, but I actually think through like my basic understanding of psychology, he was influenced to such a significant degree by things that interested him. He just tried to create things that he was drawn to and reimagine them in his own mind and creation. I think Moonchild is actually a direct descendant of Frankenstein. Prove me wrong. I bet you can't. I'll be right back. So yeah, I made a few discoveries today. There's other things as well, of course, as there always is. I had the Babylon wiki up. I had Perseus up. I forgot how I even got to Perseus. But then I was like, wait, why is he holding Medusa's head? Because, you know, like that's like a tattoo I have on like my left hand. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. So that was fun. Oh, and then I highlighted this. Trenches were criminals executed en masse in August. Because when I was at 304, trenches was a word I used a lot. I was like, I'm in the trenches, I'm in the trenches, because my life was so bad. Like, I didn't know how else to put it. But I also, for one of my works of fiction, I came up with the name August as a villain. And spoilers, August was a person who ended up killing his wife in conspiracy or cahoots with her father because her father was a part of a cult, and so was August. And they decided that because my character was not in alignment with the cult, that she needed to be sacrificed to the devil. So I found this really interesting that this was a line I randomly came across. There's also something else. Oh, Horus. Here's Horus again. Um, is this it? No, not that one. Satan's head came up. I was called Lucifer a lot at 304, or meant to feel like I was the devil, which was fun. Good times. There is something very specific I'm looking for. I think it's this. The fuck is this? Anything that says Trump in it, I'm like immediately like, I go, like I hiss mentally. But I hissed on purpose so you would understand what I meant. I'm like, no. No. Hold on, I think I know how to find it, but I have to go back up. I forgot what it was that was so interesting about it. I think I have to click double cluster. Or not. Okay. Some things are just lost. There's a very fluid way in which I do things when I'm in the moment, and then trying to like cover them again later on is a little bit more jarring, I'll admit, but at least I try. We'll just close this for now. We'll also close Babylon. I randomly looked up January 9th. I don't know what prompted that. Uh-huh. 7-8, by the way. I feel like there was a couple of things. Oh, yeah. I thought Candace Owens would find this really interesting. Again, random date I just happened to look up. The perpetrators of the Charlie Hebdo shooting in Paris 2 days earlier, both killed after a hostage situation. A second hostage situation related to the Charlie Hebdo shooting occurs at Jewish market in, I cannot pronounce that word. Just randomly come across this. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I also got like a new iPhone ad today or yesterday at this point. No, it's still today. And I guess like the first iPhone ever was introduced on the 1st or the 9th of January. I was like, okay. I want to say there's a couple of other things. A flight that killed people was interesting to me. Just because we clocked the flight randomly, and then I realized only later. I clicked this because, oh, yeah, actually, this is what I was looking for. This is actually what I was just looking for. Hey! Miracles happen. There was another way in which I found this, but like I reverse engineered it and found it again, and in that moment did more research. But I clicked on this because I think Crowley's first name was originally, or maybe it was his middle name, was Alexander. So like this was close enough for me. Also Dale. Glendale didn't come up recently for whatever reason whatsoever. I have Lich lore from 304. And I was like, wait a minute. There's like a star in the sky called a Lich. Like, that's pretty fucking rad, actually. Like, that's kind of cool. But it touched on, a lot of other things from my past. I was like, okay, there's a lot going on. I don't think there's really too much more to say. I mean, feel free to like look up any of these websites or, polls on Wikipedia if you're interested, obviously. I want to say even like 214's involved in its own way. Yeah, close enough. The arrangement of numbers doesn't necessarily mean anything to me as long as like the number sequence exists in a line. Like I could still clock that for 214. Um, Also speaking of like sevens and eights and planes, there's this. We pulled Canada earlier. Watch. Watch this space. Wait, why is COVID-19? Wait, what? Oh, okay. It's like, what the hell? No, there's a. Hold on. I am very suspicious of everything going on. I'm gonna just put that out there. Yeah, and someone's like, round zero, 9/11, hello. I'm like, yeah, that's valid, actually, that we bring that up as well. Um, Maybe it's this link I need to click. Oh, look, it's Lori, the flight attendant from 304. Oh, wait, Canada? Why do I bring this up? Because there's a fire at Lori, Your Palace movie theater in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Kills 7-8. So if you know anything about the 7-8 lore, when I saw this, I was like, I mean, I already like found so much shit at this point, but I still was just like, what the fuck is this? I still had enough energy in me to be like, no, dog, like that's crazy. I'm also seeing Ukrainian War of Independence. So funny how Ukraine, and then we brought up, I don't know, where did it go? Free Palestine. Okay, my eyes are, you'll have to forgive me. We saw it though. We saw it with our own two eyes earlier, I swear. Yeah, this is a whole thing. That's a thing. There's more that comes up too. It was just like, again, this wasn't so much a prompt as like, I mean, I guess you could say it in that way, but I had seen like the number Joan of Arc. What do you, what do you mean? I just decided to like, this was like a random poll because there's things where like, let's say on Wikipedia, I'm clicking link after link on like after link because pages connect. Um, this was just me going out of my own way to type something on my own, and I was quite surprised with my findings, mind you. Oh, song comes up too. We didn't even touch on that, but it's whatever. Don't worry about it. Mm -mm -mm. Bro, you when you clock Adolf, you just know you're gonna get German. I the 5-7 makes me a little uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure there's no reason any of that makes any sense. Sometimes I just like randomly scroll and then I'll like go up and down and just find where I find myself. Sam! Secret Agent Man, at your service. How may I help you? Talk about a Freudian slip. As I'm in my director hat, The agents watching me are just like so stupid. Does that say Yana? Wait, no, we're getting okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, hold on. Hold on. That sounds too close to Hana. Chill, chill, chill. I have no idea what you mean. That's crazy. Anyway, so what I was looking for, back to the beginning. Wait, do I not have my Instagram up as well? I do. That was an ID for marriage, just so right there. And I can't, I don't know where it is. But I remember randomly clicking on one of my pictures. Like, it was one of the ones with, like, the Bible verses. And it struck me. And the reason I wanted to find it was one, for, like, the point of evidence. But two, because I want to show you a video. And I think it has a lot to do with the context of that video. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. But I really wanted to make sure that what I was recalling was correct. Though I will say, hold on. I just had to ban someone. Hakatui, but in a negative way. I just wanted to make sure that what I was saying was correct, but regardless actually of that fact, what's interesting is I pulled this either through a trickery of my memory or because it's actually what was on my Instagram. But I'm pretty sure I'd seen like a verse, and I think it was from Ephesians.
Paul's letter to the Ephesians, chapter 1.
Chapter
Paul,
1.
an apostle of Jesus Christ, by the will of God, to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Christ Jesus. Grace be to you, and peace, from God our Father, and from the Lord Jesus Christ. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who hath blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Christ, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Jesus Christ to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he hath made us accepted in the beloved.
How convenient.
In whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins,
Cheers.
According to the riches of his grace, wherein he hath abounded toward us in all wisdom and prudence, having made known unto us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure which he hath purposed in himself, that in the dispensation of the fullness of times he might gather together in one all things in Christ, both which are in heaven and which are on earth, even in him, in whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestinated according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will, that we should be to the praise of his glory, who first trusted in Christ.
Forgive me,
in
Father,
whom ye also trusted,
of my
after
sins.
that ye heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, in whom also after that ye believed, ye were sealed with that Holy Spirit of promise, which is the earnest of our inheritance until the redemption of the purchased possession, unto the praise of his glory. Wherefore I also, after I heard of your faith in the Lord Jesus, and love unto all the saints, cease not to give thanks for you, making mention of you in my prayers, that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, may give unto you the spirit of wisdom and revelation in the knowledge of him, the eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that ye may know what is the hope of his calling, and what the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints, and what is the exceeding greatness of his power to usward, who believe, according to the working of his mighty power, which he wrought in Christ, when he raised him from the dead, and set him at his own right hand in the heavenly places, far above all principality and power and might and dominion, and every name that is named, not only
Scripted.
in this world, but also in that which is to come, and hath put all things under his feet, and gave him to be the head over all things to the church, which is his body, the fullness of him that filleth all in all.
Thank you. So, and again, I can't even prove this, but I want to say when I was randomly scrolling, I guess I could look back at my previous. I mean, I uploaded them to YouTube, so there's not like a Twitch timeout as far as like this upload is only, or the stream is only going to last for so long. But I'm pretty sure I had seen quite literally a poll. I call it light reading from the Bible. And I mean, I can light read anything, mind you. But it was 119 something. But today, regardless of whatever it was, I was like, it's Ephesians. So that's what I looked up. And so looking up Ephesians 1, you'll see the context of this in a moment, why I think this is actually like such an interesting parallel. I took into consideration uh, a speech that I heard and did my own like little deep dive. Where is it? There's just maybe we touch back on this afterwards. There's a lot of an alignment, in my opinion, of theme in which, you know, somebody is predestined or preordained to do something and they get called to do it. And I think this whole chapter actually really touches on that idea. But yeah, we'll come back to this. Let's take a pause. I did look up a map today, by the way. I'm a map head. And I found the name Leopold on like a really old school map, and this old school map had an eagle with two heads. And there was other like names and things that drew my attention. I was like, wait, like how deep does the rabbit hole go, you know? But you have to think like we're probably all based off of some type of no, I wouldn't say arcane knowledge. That's silly. I think we are all of somebody's preference. I think that's like the nicest way I can put it, and not try to make it so like think of it in like you should never, in my opinion, hold higher the power that enslaves you. I will let you sit with that. Um, you know, so when you're all of a sudden seeing a lot of revelations, when you're finding a lot of connective tissue, and you're like, this is clocking, this is clocking, this is clocking, it's like, wait, oh, it's the system, it's the algorithm. it's not special. It's not like, oh, I'm connecting dots, the fun stuff. Like, no, it's like, no, this is because we live in a really stupid place in a really stupid world run by really stupid people. That's why, actually. It's like, I think a lot of folks maybe try to give a higher meaning to these types of things, and I'm like, no, that's that's not what you should be doing, actually. Because essentially, like, you're just giving the go ahead. You're like, oh, it's so cool. You're so powerful. I'm like, stop. You're a slave in a slave state, homie. Like, there's nothing cool about that. Anyway, YouTube is gonna love this later, I'm sure. I'm hoping I can upload all of this. I did get clocked for a copyright recently, which was upsetting, but that's what you get for trying to spread the news. World of Warcraft? Did you see that elf? Fire. Fire.
Please give a warm welcome to
All
Mrs.
right.
Erica Kirk.
In all seriousness, let us begin. I I don't know how to make this bigger without fucking everything up. Hold on, I'm gonna try though. We did it. This music is kind of wild.
There's a huge
Oh my
difference between
god!
someone
Oh my god, the
caring and someone who's actually
disrespect!
trained to help.
Get the fuck out of here! Stop! Fuck off! Let the guardian angels work, god damn it. So, I will say she looks stunning, but I'm also afraid that they went out of their way to make her look away because they want to traffic her. Because that's just the way my mind thinks. Oh, your husband died? Let's try to traffic you now. Let's try to influence you now. Let's try to like, that's literally like what I clocked. And so I'm like worried that this is why sometimes I'm like so happy and looking ugly. So I'm like, I don't want
Hello.
people thinking a thing.
God bless all of you for coming here from all over the world to honor and celebrate my Charlie.
I, okay. We all have to recognize the facts. Every single person that's been on this stage, we haven't watched them all. I just wanted to focus on this speech, is a person within like the media framework, and they know how to work the crowd. If they're not trained, they at least have experience. But I don't know if that experience could possibly ready you for addressing the entire planet of your husband's demise. Like there, I'm under the impression there's no right or wrong way to mourn. I try to be very charitable in this way. I think everybody kind of goes through their own motions, and we all operate a little bit different, which I love, mind you. Like, I love diversity. I know a lot of people don't. I love diversity. So, but like this just like sucked. This like really fucking sucked to watch. Um, I didn't enjoy this. I can't even believe like she held it together, as you'll see, for the most part. Like it was just kind of an incredible feat of nature in my mind. Um, because how do you fucking do that? And some people are like, well, she had time to mourn. Again, a lot of you are probably like, well, she's media trained. Yes, 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 and kings and queens. Like we're all gonna pile on and try to, but that doesn't quite take away the reality of the situation. And I could not possibly fathom being this person's shoes right now. You know, so that's kind of how I came into the situation. I was just like, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna everything you say, I'm just gonna take it because I can't I can't even imagine. Um, so you think what you want to think of it. That's a little context as to how I went into processing what I was hearing and so on and so on. I know some people were making fun of it or this, that, and the other. It's whatever. Like you are you, but that was me. This is still me. Like this person like is going to be grieving literally for the rest of their life. Um, you know, you expect to lose your parents. You expect to lose your pets, which for most people, mind you, are some of the most valuable friendships and relationships you'll ever have. Most reliable. And maybe someday like you expect like you're gonna lose your partner if you do find one. But in this manner so early on, in such a public way, I just like I literally like my head hurts. Like my head hurts trying to even like think about it. Um, and that being said, I do also want to give validation to the people who are expressing not necessarily concern, but skepticism of like theater. This is like theater craft. Totally valid. I'm just speaking on me. I can't speak for anyone else. But if that's your assessment and for whatever reason you're like, no, I have a really good judgment on this, that's what I think and feel, I'm like, valid. You know. But like for me, I'm just like this just hurt. This again, like it sucked. It sucked watching this. So let's go forward. Forward together, hand in hand, into the night where the darkness
Just a few miles
blends.
from here, 2 years
The
ago
light and the
at
gray,
America
and all in
Fest
between.
2023, Charlie delivered a speech on
What was and
stage
what will
for
never
our
be.
TPUSA Faith event.
Amen.
Charlie loves speaking off the cuff. He was very good at that, without a script. So I personally didn't know what he was going to say. And what he chose to speak about that day was his submission to the will of God.
Keep this in mind. This
He
part.
quoted one of his favorite Bible verses, Isaiah chapter
Literally,
6,
please keep
verse
this in
8.
mind because that's why we went over the Bible verse.
Here I am, Lord. Send me. After Charlie finished, I met him backstage and I spoke to him, and I'll never forget this. I said, Charlie, baby, please talk to me next time before you say that statement. Because when you say something like that, there is so much power in that verse. When you say, here I am, Lord, use me, God will take you up on that.
My cat,
And
David
he did
Osiris,
with
just
Charlie.
came up for no reason, I'm sure. She's a good death cat, I swear.
We pretty much take it all.
Why are we getting
We swap
ads?
couches, mattresses, same day notice, or 3 weeks in advance.
It's good to
That
know you're
is
like making a
so
difference instead of just throwing
disrespectful.
this stuff in the dirt. You're actually
So disrespectful.
11 days ago, God accepted that total surrender from my husband and then called him to his side. More than anything, Charlie wanted to do not his will, but God's will. And over these past 11 days, through all the pain, never before have I found as much comfort as I now do in the words of our Lord's Prayer, "Thy will be done." God's love was revealed to me on the very day my husband was murdered. On the afternoon of September 10th, I arrived at a Utah hospital to do the unthinkable, to look directly at my husband's murdered body.
I hate to think that she's like
I saw
reliving
the
this
wound that ended
as she's
his
saying
life.
it.
I felt everything you would expect to feel. I felt shock. I felt horror and a level of heartache that I didn't even know existed.
I think I
But
started to
there was
tear up a little
something
bit
else
when I heard
too.
all this
Even in
at
death, I
first.
could see the man that I love. I saw the one single gray hair on the side of his head, which I never told him about. Now he knows. Sorry, baby, telling you now, but never told him. Didn't want to.
Oh,
I also
my
saw
eyes.
this. I also saw on his lips the faintest smile. And that told me something important. It revealed to me a great mercy from God in this tragedy. When I saw that, it told me Charlie didn't suffer. Even the doctor told me. It was something so instant that even if Charlie had been shot in the operating room itself, nothing could have been done. There was no pain, there was no fear, no agony. One moment Charlie was doing what he loved, arguing and debating on campus, fighting for the gospel and truth in front of a big crowd. And then he blinked. He blinked and saw his Savior in paradise. And all the heavenly mysteries were revealed to him. God's love continued to be revealed to me in the days that followed. The next day on the tarmac in Air Force Two,
Oi,
I confronted Usha Vance,
oi.
gorgeous woman. I held her hand and I told her, honestly, I do not know how.
This, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to pause during like an emotional moment, but like this is what started to like remind me what she's about to say, that we had clocked a Bible verse. And so everything she said before, and then this moment in particular anchored, wait a minute. I I think we pulled something. Let's go back and see what it was. And so that is literally what I was looking for before I went live. Didn't find it, but found something else completely, which was also relevant. There's so much. There's always just so much. Anyway, back to it.
Oh, I am going to get through this. She told me something. She said, you know when you're on an airplane with your kids and it's the last 15 minutes of the flight and things are crazy. Kids are not cooperating, toys are flying everywhere and everyone's screaming. And you think to yourself, I cannot wait for this flight to land. And it's 15 minutes before you land. And she told me, you will get through these 15 minutes and the next 15 minutes after that.
No.
Usha, I don't think you realized it then, but those words were exactly what I needed to hear. But most of all, God's mercy and God's love have been revealed to me these past 10 days. After Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence. We didn't see rioting.
Okay, this part pissed me off a little bit. I won't lie. Because I'm like, who are you alluding to as the party? Because you know how these people operate. As people who riot and go out of their way to do things. And Hassan, in his stream, Hassan mentioned, if somebody had a bingo board, um, pointed out these people have everything they want. They have power, they have commission, they have authority, uh, their will be done. Like it's just like, what do you mean? Why would you riot? Everything is at your disposal. What do you mean? Like when people riot, there has to be a deep discontent. You're not uncomfortable right now, Republicans. You're incredibly fine. Higher than you've ever been, even. So, of course, you're not going to go out of your way and be problematic with the police force, which you think protects you and you in particular. Like, can we not make sense of a moment? Like, all due respect, I I feel a way about this speech, but like, it's a little out of touch. Just saying.
We didn't see revolution. Instead, we saw what my husband always prayed he would see in this country. We saw revival. This past week, we saw people open a Bible for the first time in a decade. We saw people pray for the first time since they were children.
Actually, I didn't open my Bible today, but I will show you what book I did open, and then you're going to be really disappointed. But I only did it because I was looking for um, occult symbolisms. But also, I don't know, it's just more interesting than Christianity. This guy! It's actually what my mic is perched atop, and I'm not holding it. The last stream it was on top of a tissue box. Now I found a book.
We saw people go to a church service for the first time in their entire lives. Charlie liked to journal. And I say this because he did it to remember important moments and sayings that affected him. And one of the things he wrote in his journal was this: Every time you make a decision, it puts a mark on your soul. To those of you out there who just made that decision and took the first step toward a spiritual life, I say thank you and welcome.
304 Glendale, I'm clocking it.
One day I hope you look back and realize it was the most important decision of your life.
304 was
Because
the
it
worst thing
is.
that's ever happened to me, but okay.
All of you who are already believers, it is your job to shepherd these people. Do not take that lightly. Water the seed of their faith. Protect it and help it grow. Every day as Charlie rode into the office, he would go through his contact list, and I know there's many of you who were impacted by this. He would go through his contact list and send Bible verses for the day. He knew that faith was a habit. The more you live it, the more it grows. But no,
I forgot she said this, and now I'm really feeling away. I used to look up Bible Gateway. They have like a verse of the day every day. What is, why is there a 5-7? Wherefore receive ye one another as Christ also received us, the glory of God. Oh my God. My fucking light reading from 2020 something had more emphasis. Okay, that was pointless. Where is the?
know this too.
I was hoping for something more, but
The
okay.
seed has only just been planted. The enemy will tempt you the most in a time like this one. God will always be there for you, but you must choose to mark your soul again and again in the direction of Christ. Pray again. Read the Bible again. Go to church next Sunday and the Sunday after that, and break free from the temptations and shackles of this world.
Register for Pinterest Presents, the global marketing event of the year!
How disrespectful. After I keep pausing and doing my own thing.
Being a follower of Christ is not easy. It's not supposed to be. Jesus said, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. He said he would be persecuted. He said we would be persecuted. And Charlie knew that and happily carried his cross all the way to the end. And I want all of you to know, while Charlie died far too early, he was also ready to die. There was nothing he was putting off. There was nothing that was too hard or too painful, or nothing that he just felt like he didn't want to do it. He left this world without regrets. He did 100% of what he could every day. But I want you to know something. Charlie died with incomplete work, but not with unfinished business.
I feel like Charlie Kirk is a person who a lot of us don't agree with. but I feel like he was authentically himself. I don't think he was working. Now, keep in mind how things work, you know. You can be formulated and massaged into kind of being a curator of certain content and poise. But to his best rendition of himself, recognize that he was authentically pursuing all of these ventures. And I think that's like a very rare attribute, actually. I don't think it's common where you can see someone and be like, you know what, man, like I really do think you like you're you, you know? There's always something else going on. And I know there's almost like a joke because a lot of people have not been able to say an abundance of gracious notes on this individual, or of them rather. But I will say that it's to live an authentic life is such a special thing. And it really does seem to me this person lived more of an authentic life, but especially in regards to like the media sphere, which I don't know if any of you have too much familiarity of. It's a very difficult environment, but he did it, you know. He kind of did the damn thing. So I'm one of those people who, you know, credit where credit's due. And in that way, I do think that we can appreciate his his aptitude for life and self and service because it transcended that of monetary gain and pressure and influence. And I think that's something that everybody on all sides should strive for. In a way, Charlie Kirk, despite his beliefs being one thing or another, is an excellent example of how everybody should operate in the media space. I rest my case. Thank you.
But I will miss him. I will miss him so much because our marriage and our family were beautiful. And they still are. The greatest cause in Charlie's life was trying to revive the American family. When he spoke to young people, he was always eager to tell them about God's vision for marriage and how, if they could just dare to live it out, it would enrich every part of their life in the same way that it enriched ours. And someone once asked me how Charlie and I, how we kept our marriage so strong when he was busy traveling. And our little secret, it was love notes. Every Saturday, Charlie wrote one for me, and he never missed a Saturday. And in every single one of them, he'd tell me what his highlight was for the week, how grateful he was for me and our babies. And always at the end, he would always end it with asking the most beautiful question. He'd always end it by asking, "Please let me know how I can better serve you as a husband." Charlie perfectly understood God's role for a Christian husband. A man who leads so that they can serve.
Why am I selling 8 weeks of 1-hour calls with me in a group setting of Q&A and access to me for $300? Simple. I've joined
I
Rocketsan, a tool that I
hate
genuinely believe allows
everything
creator
that's
entrepreneurs and micro
happening.
creators to monetize.
The world could not be less serious.
To all the men watching around the world,
Okay,
except Charlie's.
hold on. Speaking of unserious, y'all, you went to a funeral and you were wearing red, white, and blue? Bitch, if I died and there was an arena, you all best be in black. What do you mean red, white, and blue? Talk about deeply unserious. Jesus fucking Christ. Who raised you? Have you been to a funeral before? Like, have you buried a goldfish? Like, what are we talking about? Is America the prime suspect in this moment? No, it's Charlie Kirk. It's a funeral of a person, a guy. The propaganda machine is so just like I can't. So I'm sorry. It triggered me. I believe in, professional attire or, suitable attire in any given situation. And wow, did you all not deliver? Really tells me a lot about your mindset.
Challenge and embrace true manhood. Be strong and courageous for your families. Love your wives and lead them. Love your children and protect them. Be the spiritual head of your home. But please be a leader worth following. Your wife is not your servant. Your wife is not your employee. Your wife is not your slave.
Preach, lady.
She is your helper. You are not rivals. You are one flesh working together for the glory of God.
I will say in this moment it's 311, and I don't like those numbers. Because,
I was Charlie's confidant.
311s is
I was his vault. His
just saying.
closest and most trusted advisor, his best friend. I poured into him and loved him so deeply, empowered him, because his love for me drove me to be a better wife. Every day he honored me, and I prayed that I could be the wife that God needed me to be for my husband. Women, I have a challenge for you too. Be virtuous. Our strength is found in God's design for our role. We are the guardians. We are the encouragers. We are the preservers. Guard your heart. Everything you do flows from it. And if you're a mother, please recognize that is the single most important ministry you have.
Building muscle and strength during pregnancy can increase your energy levels, improve the health of your baby,
So,
improve your delivery, and lead to a faster.
Them putting pregnancy shit here is so wrong. Don't have children. You know how your life is here. You know how bad it is, and how more depressed you are than happy. This is not the environment. This is not the space. Love your children so much, you are saying to yourselves, I'm not going to subject you to this life. Thank you.
In our home, because Charlie traveled a lot, we tried to travel with him where we could. But I made sure that when Charlie returned from work, it was his sacred landing place, away from the worries of the world. I didn't make him feel guilty for being away too long or too much, or getting home too late. I always told him, home is here for you, and it'll be ready for you. And I made it
This
into
is
this
so
place where he
fucking
wanted to
sad.
be as soon as possible when he was on the road. There was no keeping score between us. We were a team, working together for the same mission. I never wanted to be the one standing between Charlie and the task that God prepared for him, had set for him. And I knew Charlie would
We will
always
get
do
to
his best to
this.
help me with the same. My marriage with Charlie was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I know it was the best thing that ever happened to him as well. He wanted everyone to experience that joy. And that's what's so beautiful about God's design for marriage, is that everyone can. And I could talk endlessly about it, and years to come I will. But Charlie's mission above all was aimed directly at those who aren't married. He named his organization well. He knew things were not right with America, and especially with young people, and they needed a new direction. Charlie passionately wanted to reach and save the lost boys of the West. The young men who feel like they have no direction, no purpose, no faith, and no reason to live. The men wasting their lives on distractions, and the men consumed with resentment, anger, and hate. Charlie wanted to help them. He wanted them to have a home with Turning Point USA. And when he went onto campus, he was looking to show them a better path and a better life that was right there for the taking. He wanted to show them that. My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life.
This is so bigger for her. What's coming up is, yeah.
That young man, on the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That
How I feel
man,
about so many people.
that young man, I forgive him.
And she says this, and the crowd stands. And we're not gonna watch it, but Donald Trump immediately after is like, Charlie Kirk wanted the best, for his critics and enemies. I don't. Fuck them. Just like he could not be less of a Christian. He could be. I don't know how you showcase yourself as less of a leader. I mean, he made how much of the eulogy about himself. Look, I don't like anyone in the Republican Party at the moment. Sometimes, like, I find people where I'm like, I can kind of maybe see, like, I'm an independent for the record. So it's like, it's not swayable, but like, state your case, then I'll make an assessment, right? It's like a job interview. That's how leadership roles should be across the board. It's like a job interview, and every single person should be hiring or not. And watching Donald Trump after this like moving speech just be like, I still hate people. And it's just like, bro, that was her literal husband, and you can't even get past your grievances? Like, what happened to you so bad? It's kind of crazy. I honestly think he's just mentally ill, but I don't know if the Republicans want to fucking wrap their minds around that. You know what I mean? I'm laughing, but like, I'm serious. Like, everybody stands up. There's people crying. In my mind, I hear Carrie Underwood's Jesus Take the Wheel.
I forgive him because
Take it
it was
from my hands.
what Christ did.
So I can't do this on my
And is
own.
what Charlie would do. The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies, and love for those who persecute us. The world needs Turning Point USA. It needs a group that will point young people away from the path of misery and sin. It needs something that will lead people away from hell in this world and in the next. It needs young people pointed in the direction of truth and beauty. And so I promise you today, every part of our work will become greater. I am tremendously honored to be the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My name is Julia. I'm the CEO of Hello Prenup and Massachusetts
I
Family Law Group.
literally
Hello Prenup
can't
is the
believe how
first digital
unserious all this
platform that
is.
allows
I do not take that lightly. Charlie and I were united in purpose. His passion was my passion, and now his mission is my mission. Everything that Turning Point USA built through Charlie's vision and hard work, we will make 10 times greater through the power of his memory. Chapters will grow, thousands of new ones will be created. TPUSA Faith will add thousands of new pastors and congregations.
5 more minutes. Less than that. And then I think I'm gonna call it. I was gonna go over
Campus
the
events will continue, and we will continue to hold debates and dialogue.
Bible verse, but honestly, if you care that much, then you do your own research.
The First Amendment of our
Oh, I forgot
Constitution
I've been
is the
working
most
out.
human
Oh, my back hurts.
amendment. We are naturally talking beings.
Oh, it's sore. Okay.
Naturally believing beings. And the First Amendment protects our right to do both.
I'm trying.
No assassin will ever stop us from standing up to defend those rights.
I look like the 5th Mario brother right now. Like there's a shadow, and I have a hat. But they're like, yeah, this is our
Because when you
transgender
stop the
sister.
conversation, when you stop the dialogue,
Nintendo when?
this is what
Nintendo
happens.
when? I'm so sorry.
When
I
we
know this is
lose
very
the
serious, but I'm
ability and the
also
willingness to communicate,
I have to like
we get violence.
admit to somehow. Does nobody else see this? This is
And as
fun.
I stand here now and I look at this beautiful
I
photo of
wouldn't
my
say
husband in
that,
front of me
but
hanging in the stadium,
not about your husband.
I
I
think of
was
my husband
referencing what just
13 years
happened.
ago. I hadn't met him yet. He was 18 years old, a man barely out of high school, running around the halls of the RNC without a dollar in his pocket and a single contact in his phone. People who saw him said that he didn't know what he was doing, but he did. He did know what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was going to change the world, and he did. Charlie's life was a turning point for this country. It was a miracle. Let that miracle that was Charlie's life be your turning point as well. Choose prayer. Choose courage. Choose beauty. Choose adventure. Choose family. Choose a life of faith. Most importantly, choose Christ.
I mean, beautiful.
I love you, Charlie, baby. And I will make you proud. God bless you all, and God bless America.
I told you this shit sucks. It's awful. It's awful to just watch someone go through their grieving process. But that being said, I think I'm gonna end it. I went over a lot today, covering a whole myriad of things even beyond what I had anticipated to even reach.
We pretty much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers and dressers, drawers, couches, mattresses,
Hold.
bed frames, concrete, things like that.
I you know, when I stream, it's not that I have like a perfect complex of what's going to happen, but in this moment in particular, it's very much more out of the ordinary in my mind. There's just so much going on. It's never about likes or views. For me, it's about facts. And, you know, there's so many authors. I mean, for example, not saying I'm not trying to like put myself in the place of them, but people in history who were never popular when they were alive, but once they were dead, it was like, oh my God, a resurgence of their importance. Um, you know, it would be magnificent if any of this meant anything to anyone. But at the same time, if someone's doing it better, then I hope they do better and you pay attention to that. Or, you know, if no one said a damn thing and you have to look back and find this, then I hope it was this. Like, I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, it's just like so crazy how things work in this world, and people don't really want to talk about how things come into play, but I was here, you were here. This has been a stream and it's been a ride. I am I don't know how you kind of like just get over a death like Charlie Kirk's, even if you didn't like the guy. Like, I'm struggling here. I know you want to make me seem to be like a bad guy or a villain, but I'm I don't know. Y'all are whack. This is dumb. All right. Well, I'd say this has been fun, but it hasn't. But we have gone through a lot of information, which is good. It's good that we've done that. So I'll see you soon. Don't know when. There's dogs barking all of a sudden in my neighborhood. Oh. Okay, good. They stopped. I spoke their language.